guys, Fire here, bringing you another First Impressions video. This time we're checking out REMEDIUM Sentinels. This game is currently available in the Xbox store, and it's the latest roguelike to come out on console. For this game, it's kind of themed around dark plagues and kind of death, and you're in these like steampunk type mechs, just trying to survive as long as you can. And the way this game does it is there's multiple different stages here. I've only unlocked a couple so far, but you basically get the next one stage for surviving long enough to go to the other stages. There's also some unlocks that you'll get to slowly add things to your game, as well as you can do overall upgrades by spending the scrap that you collect. So let's dive into the game a little bit, and I'll show you a little more and just share kind of my thoughts. As you can see, there's multiple different kind of steampunk mech kind of guys that you can be in, but basically think of these as like crazy super armor things. This guy here actually shoots mortar shells. The first one you're gonna get basically is one that shoots just like machine guns and stuff, and as you go around the game, you're gonna see the enemies drop these little like white balls. These balls are what you collect to level up, and then you can pick which kind of upgraded ability you have. And different upgrades are definitely better than others, as well as these little like sparkly stardusty like things. Those are going to be the scrap that you pick up to do additional overall leveling in the game. Now, there's always going to be basically things that you can get that level up, and then you'll have opportunities to make the things that you level up go up even higher and become more effective. Also, if you're not super familiar with roguelikes, there's going to be things that you can pick up, and something that this game does a little differently that I really like is in every single stage while you're playing, there's going to be, I'm trying to think of how to word it, more of these mech unit things that you can find throughout the game, and those are going to be how you unlock different, like, characters, I guess you could call it, to play as well as you start to pick up some of these like little orbs to level up your guy. You're also going to get opportunities to find orbs that even give you more and more points as you progress, and the game does a really good job at putting a ton of enemies on your screen. Like, it's pretty crazy how many things that will just kind of build up around you, and you can get overwhelmed pretty quickly. You know, there's achievements for lasting, I believe, 10 minutes and 15 minutes on every stage, and I believe to beat a stage you have to survive for 15 minutes. You can kind of see a little progress bar of timer there, so to beat the level, you have to get that entire length in the stage. Now, you would think that maybe you could just train the enemies and run around in big circles, but I assure you the game will find a way to just overwhelm you with ever-growing enemies that really do a good job at keeping you mobile, but also making you have to be cautious around the areas you go. So a lot of what I find myself doing, especially when there's an early stage of enemies, is going around and trying to find anything I can to get more mech units or just to better understand the area, because there's definitely choke points and areas where you're going to struggle while you're moving around in the game, and some of the enemies honestly are really brutal early on, and you'll slowly get to where you'll see the same kind of horded wave. So if you're going for like a time to run, I would more try to just farm and get as many level up opportunities as you can, versus, you know, like right now I'm running around looking for a new unit to play as, or suit of armor, really, whatever you want to call it, and that's exactly what I'm finding right here. And I actually have to do enough damage to this cage to be able to unlock this additional unit for me to be able to play as. Now, I've found that the ones I've looked for so far are generally always in a very similar area, but since you have to kind of stay and do a lot of damage to it in one zone, you're gonna see where enemies start to kind of get very overwhelming, and you've got to just sit and hope that you can outlast and survive, because your health will deplete very quickly. So one of the upgrades I would definitely recommend that you work towards early on is going to be any upgrade that gives you health regeneration. As you can see, they're doing a heck of a job just taking our health down, and we just got trapped by units for just a brief second. So this game is very brutal in the sense of it wants to kill you, and it's generally going to kill you pretty darn quickly, and you don't have any power-ups or anything to really help you get out of sticky situations. You really have to just hope that you can continually to get more upgrades, maybe move a little faster, and you might even be doing everything that you're doing, you know, for no effort at all, because you're just going to end up dying. Luckily there, we were able to get that Lamina unit, so we'll get a new character to play as, and like I said, every level has a character around it. And, you know, it's the game is honestly really balanced well. You know, it's not a game that's just easy. It's going to require you to work and spend effort to kind of get through the end. And that's something that I can really appreciate for a game, especially like a roguelike. We've had a lot of really easy ones come out recently, so it's kind of nice to have a more brutal, difficult roguelike on the console. One that's really just going to challenge you a little bit with your movement and perceptions and doing your best to not get stuck around a ton of hordes. As you saw that little vial, it might have been really hard to see there, but you do get opportunities to pick things up that can increase your health and just different kind of power-ups. So anytime you can increase things that do more damage for you or get like a health gain, do that all the time. Additionally, anytime you can move faster, that's just even better as well. Like the chaining the damage and everything will really help push this to be a solid game. As far as like my opinion and why I'm not doing a full-on review, I don't feel like I've gotten enough time to give the game a fair judgment of a full review that I think really is, you know, deserving of the amount of content in the game. But I do think I've played a fair enough to share, like I said, my initial thoughts. And I would recommend REMEDIUM's Sentinels. It's definitely an interesting and fun game. These little guys that split up and multiply as you kill them are definitely annoying. But, you know, it's a game that's done really well. And I love, like, just the extra lore type stuff. If you saw in the menu, as you encounter different enemies, you'll be able to, you know, read up on them, and there's definitely a good balance of the types of enemies that you get presented, from ground to aerial enemies, and it's real easy to get swarmed and be overwhelmed without you really realizing what's going on. As you can see right here, we might even die. We've kind of started to get overwhelming, and we've almost lost all our health just in a matter of moments. So it's just a lot of pushing your luck and seeing if you can make it, and if you fail, maybe it's because you don't have the right units, or maybe you just made the wrong choice with different upgrades opportunities that you had throughout the game while you were playing. You know, for me, it's kind of one of those, like, I don't know if I'm doing it the right way, or if I'm, you know, honestly just making a ton of mistakes, but it's something that I do enjoy, and I've had a lot of fun with the game, so that's kind of my thoughts. As far as the rest of the video, if you want to just watch and see how far I get, which, to be honest, I don't think it's going to be very far with the amount of health I'm losing and the slow health gain that I actually have. Maybe we can pick up a couple of these orbs here and get a little closer to leveling up, or see some of these enemies start to get wiped away, but I don't see us last. Oh my gosh, that thing is huge. Yep, and there we go. That's going to be the end of us. And, you know, what I do really like to do is the game tracks your high score, tracks your damages. It really shows you what you need to kind of improve and get further, as well as just how your scraps and upgrades and things that you've done. And then it's always nice to go back here, like there's the bestiary, and see all the different animal types that you've seen. I think the giant, no, maybe we could see that bird, unless we didn't actually kill it. I think we need to kill it to be able to see it here. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get to see the the little informational thing for that big bird, which I imagine is one of these kind of grayed out units. Might be this boss wolfer, but it's pretty neat, just the little added touches that the game has. My advice too is if you do pick this up, make sure you pay attention to upgrades, because there's not only overall upgrades, but a thing that I noticed a little later on is the different units themselves actually have their own upgrade tracks as well. So make sure if you're playing with a certain unit, you're kind of paying attention to that. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this first impressions video. If you did, please, if you wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up button. If you have any questions about the game or a little bit more info, let me know down below in the comments. I appreciate you just joining the video, and hope you'll consider checking out one of the other 2 videos on your screen. Have a blessed rest of your day.